So welcome to the weekly channeled angel message for the collective. I'm going to take a moment to tune in to the angels and see what message they want to share with us this week for guidance and support. So here we go. I'm just going to be quiet for a moment while I channel. So they usually start with an image, and the image this time is laying bricks down. It feels like about making a foundation because it's more of a brick road versus a wall or anything like that. I'm going to take a moment to see what they mean by this. They're really showing like the putting in the cement, putting in the brick, and then it feels solid. And then they're showing me an image of it being wobbly. Like after time, sometimes bricks, start to become not connected anymore. The cement starts to become not holding it in there. So I think that's kind of what they want to focus on, is that idea of creating a solid foundation, but then things get wobbly. Okay, so this is really about what we need to nourish ourselves and our souls and take care of ourselves. So what happens, we can build a really solid foundation that could be emotionally, relationally, in so many different ways, spiritually. And then over time, if we don't kind of take care of it, and just also just over time as things happen and things change and we grow and evolve and all of that, that our foundation can get wobbly. And so we just need to revisit it every so often and check in of like, what do I need? How am I feeling? How am I doing in the main categories of wellness? They're bringing up, blanking on the name right now. She created this 8 parts of wellness. Things like physical, emotional, mental, spiritual, financial, environmental, relational. I can't think of all of them, but there's a lot of different categories of our lives. And to go back to all of these foundational parts of what makes up our wellness and our being and look at it and say, how are each of these parts doing? Maybe emotionally, I'm taking really great care of myself, but spiritually, I've kind of moved away from my practices. Maybe physically, I'm taking really great care of myself, but relationally, I've started to pull away, or I'm not showing up in the best ways that I want to with other people. So this is really about, and angels bring this up a lot, about creating a balanced life. That it's really important to have balance. So I encourage you to look up the 8 wheels of wellness, if you can, the 8 factors. But yeah, really take stock of your life and what did you used to do in the past to take care of yourself that you're not doing anymore? Because sometimes we forget. That's what the angels are bringing up. We forget what worked for us. Maybe we used to do journaling and writing, and somehow along the way we stopped. Or maybe we used to meditate every morning, and that was really helpful, but somewhere along the way we stop, right? We get busy, other priorities come up, but it's really important to make time for that stuff. Let me see if the angels have any other things that they want to add to this message today. It seems pretty straightforward. They're just really reiterating the importance of this foundation, like showing someone walking on 2 different pavements, one that's really been paved well and one that's really wobbly and that you can fall over, right, and hurt yourself and injure yourself. So this idea, if we're not taking care of ourselves, that can lead to illness and physical issues and relational problems and mental health struggles and right, all sorts of stuff, energy blockages in our body. And that can create all sorts of problems, right, when we're having like the energy blocks. So we just want to make sure that we're really taking care of that foundation because it affects so many other things. It's like a domino effect or a ripple effect is what I'm saying and what I'm hearing. And then the other part is they're showing like, right, those like old brick roads are made, hundreds of years ago. Like they're just so old. Sometimes we can get impacted by intergenerational trauma, by collective trauma, by oppression and things that have been passed down to the generations and things outside of us. And that can also make our foundation and our wellness also impacted. So it's not just about what we do, but all of these things that we inherited or are exposed to. And that's really important to look at and be aware of that. And to be mindful of, to give yourself grace. So like if you're struggling, it's like, oh, well, I must not be doing something right. Sometimes it's stuff outside of us. So we have to think about, how can I do the best that I can, given sometimes the road that I have to walk on that is outside of my control, that sometimes it is wobbly. And that's not because of me, it's because of bigger forces or intergenerational stuff that's been passed down. How can I do my best to avoid some of the wobbliness, to stay on the more stable path, or to create a stability enough that I can move forward and not feel paralyzed and feel like it's so unsafe and so dangerous. So they wanted to bring in that element, and that's all that they have. So be thinking about how you're taking care of yourself. What does your foundation look like, and how you can build a more stable and better foundation for yourself and your well-being.